Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast.
So Fergus software, I would be completely lost without this software. So using Fergus to me and my business is extremely important. I actually jumped on Fergus super early. Probably when it was, what was it? I think it was myself, one apprentice when I first jumped on it. And I think the pushback that I got from a few friends of mine who were also in a similar boat, like a one-man band or, one person, an apprentice, was like, oh, that sounds expensive, or that, why would you need that sort of thing? Just because it's just you, like, why would you need everything to go into software? And I do not regret my decision at all, because it gave me a long time to sort of get used to it. And it gave me a long time to sort of build it out as well, while it was just small, like it was just myself, basically. So, I didn't have to, I always wanted to use it properly, but like I didn't have to fully use it properly. Hello, Sally. All right. Just listening. I thought I had a friend then. I was in here by myself, but now I've got some.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, yeah, good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, cool.
I didn't realize you were doing Fergus today.
Yeah, do you guys use Fergus?
No.
Oh, okay. Do you use anything?
SimPro.
SimPro? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I literally only just started. So what I was saying was that I was basically just doing a bit of an intro and just saying that like when I first started using Fergus when it was just me and an apprentice.
Yeah.
Which I had a fair bit of pushback on from a few of my friends who, like, we were a bit younger then, but like a few of my friends were sort of at the similar time starting out businesses, and they were like, why would you sign up to a software? Like, you don't need it. It's only you and an apprentice.
Oh, really?
And I was sort of always under the mentality of like, oh, well, if you start early, well, then it gives you plenty of time to get it set up and get used to it. And when you bring people on, super helpful. So,
Yeah.
how many people do you guys have?
We have 2 apprentices and 2 A grades.
Oh, cool. So that's a pretty, like a really good time to implement a software. How are you finding SimPro?
Yeah, it's not bad. I have my frustrations with it. Like, we actually used to use Fergus a very long time ago. But yeah, SimPro is it's good, but yeah, we don't use it for everything that it's capable of.
Yeah, that's what most people do with the software, and it takes. Firstly, you've got to find the time to set it up. Which I was the same with Fergus. I was the same for a very long time. Like, we'd basically just integrated it with Xero, and I was just using it to sort of create a project and schedule a project and semi-track it. The main thing, I guess, for me was just to try and that whole part of like, how does a job start, and then how do you schedule it and keep track of it through its lifetime, and then how do you reliably invoice it? Because I remember back in the old days when I was an apprentice, my old boss used to we used to have to drive all the way to his house, which was ridiculously out of the way. It was like a 15 or so minute detour, go to his house, have all the stuff laid out like on the footpath, be like that person job, or some would be in his garage, and we'd pick a physical piece of paper job card, literally say like Tom and whoever, the customer's name, he'd write their phone number, what to do, and then like sort of. It was I was everyone was, but I was also just terrible at filling them out, and it's hard enough getting people to fill out their timesheets when it's on a software, let alone a physical piece of paper. So I remember one time I hadn't handed back a job card in like a week, and he came out to the car when I was dropping some stuff off in the afternoon. He's like, "Oh, Tommy, can I get all your timesheets?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and like sort of freaked out a little bit because I didn't even know where they were. They're all on the floor. They had freaking poppy stains all on them and footprints on that weren't even filled out. So
yeah. Yes, I think yes, software is like a must these days.
100%, 100% it is. So yeah, so this is Fergus. So I'll probably just start with this main page because I feel like this and the calendar, in my view, are the two best parts of, well, there's a lot of good parts of Fergus, but the main bit that most people are going to enjoy is this. So this main homepage here is like a traffic light system, and you're always trying to get it from, basically it starts here in pricing, and you're always trying to get it from left and finish in right. And it goes through like a life cycle. Like each job goes through a life cycle, and then the different colors mean different things. So basically pricing's pretty obvious. That means just green is like you've quoted it and it's still within the quoting terms period, I guess, like that 30 days or 60 days or 10 days or whatever you set. This one here is this is like an expired quote, so it's sort of prompting us when it goes orange, it's sort of prompting us to follow the customer up. And then red is what's this one? Oh, this is one that you've sort of created, but we haven't actually finished the quote yet. So it's just prompting us that like we've created a new job, but we haven't finished the quote or sent it off. And that could be for a number of reasons, like maybe we don't have the full information yet or things like that. But it's just a good little reminder. So anytime you see red, that's bad, basically. So scheduling is the same sort of setup. So green is a job that's been created or a quote that's been accepted and is ready to schedule, but hasn't had any labor put on it yet. Orange is been sitting here a bit too long. And red, what's red? The job phase is in to schedule status. Oh, so that's just old. So that we need to get on top of those ones, basically. So some of our jobs are like projects, and some of these that get caught up in here are actually variations on projects. But this scheduling part would be super good if you're like more of like a maintenance company, and you did lots and lots of little jobs. This would be really good to see when one's been sitting there for too long. It might have been sitting there for 2 weeks or something, and you haven't actually scheduled that job. In progress, this is where most of our jobs sit, although the graph is a bit skewed at the moment, but most of our jobs sit in progress because we do a lot of projects. So it'll sit in here. Red usually means that someone has been scheduled to a job but haven't put their timesheets on. So this is the one, whenever I see that's red, the first thing I do is I click in here, I see which jobs it is, and then I can go into the job and see, I'll show you that in a second in a bit more detail. We might go into each one of these widgets, but I can go in and I can see who hasn't filled out their labor that day, and I can just ping them through Fergus and just say, hey, can you fill out those labors and materials and whatnot? And then back costing. So this is to do with your supplier documents and integration into your suppliers. So whenever we send a purchase order out from the software, we're expecting an invoice to come back. So that'll sort of sit here, and then anything here that's red basically needs some attention. So it's like I need to sort of acknowledge that we've received an invoice or there's a credit or something like that. So that's a bit of more of like a financial part of it. And then invoicing. So what happens when it's in progress or we finish off the back costing? Once we know that so one of our project managers will generally do this now is they'll go, right, all the labor's done, all the supplier documents are in, and we've captured all the stock on hand's another section. I'll show that soon. They can click a little button that says ready to invoice, and then that sits there for me I can then invoice it out. So currently, because I'm actually going through the workbook as well at the moment, so I prefer at the moment to do the invoicing myself because I can, either adjust the numbers to try and hit that 20% net profit or whatever, just run my eyes over the project and just make sure that it went to plan. And then payments, this one looks bad, but we've got to change it. We put on a 1 day. We just do like basically payment on delivery. So obviously end of month, I've just done a lot of invoicing. So that's all your payments that you're sort of waiting to come in. So I've just, for this video, just in case Crowy wanted to sort of throw it online or whatever, I've just hidden. Usually it shows you all the numbers down the bottom here, but I've just hidden it. So that'll show you how much you're outstanding, how much is expected to be invoiced out, how much is sort of stuck in back costing, how much dollars you're currently working on in progress, how much dollars is to be scheduled, and then your pricing. That's usually a pretty big one because we do a whole lot of quoting. And then down here, so that's sort of that graph overview. So I just sort of look at that every day. When you click into Fergus, that just launches right in your face and you can see a good overview of your business at the time. Down here is just a job list. So this is basically just jobs that have been created in order, created actually. It's all done by the created job. So this is just a quick little list and you can just go through every job. But I usually do it through here because I'll be looking at something. So if I want to go into my pricing, I can see here all my quotes that are currently out, and I can run through those. I can quickly look up here and see which ones I need to follow up. So it says here when they expired. So you can sort of search by that if you wanted to and hit the ones that are the oldest first, or, whatever, just go through a list. If you have if you block out a time of a week where you want to follow up quotes and whatnot, just go through this list, makes it easy. And this one's just the little red one here. Scheduling. So it's the same thing for all of these, basically. You just go through. So this is orange, is like I need to look at scheduling this soon because it's getting a bit old, and especially these ones I need to look at. But I know that a lot of these are just jobs that are on hold. When jobs sort of get stuck in here, if you do a lot of projects, one thing you can do is actually put a job physically on hold. So Fergus, the system, knows that it's temporarily on hold, and that's what this is over here in pending. So that'll sit in here, and it just means that it's not getting caught up in the rest of this. It's just out of the way, and you sort of define the time period as well. So you can say like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, custom, whatever you want to do. So that's your little bucket over there. All right, so a few other things that are on this dashboard. You've got create job, create from a work order. So that's where you can import like a work order from a real estate agent or something, and it will automatically create your customer and all that kind of stuff. It's got its own little mini AI engine in there. Create a quote and estimate, create an invoice, add a customer, schedule event. And a good little thing here is tasks. So we use this. We don't use this as much actually because we use a lot of Slack, but if it's something that I'm trying to communicate to my admin, like, oh, can you send this invoice out or something like that, I usually just do it as a task here. So this will just be a list of tasks just on your dashboard that you can go through and just see. So yeah, just claiming, we're just finishing off one of our last little solar projects since we've gotten rid of that. So just claiming the STCs. That's just a note to Davin to create some Zeta Fergus favorites. We'll get into favorites soon. Inquiries. This is a nice little feature that Fergus have added in. So you can actually you can make like a little contact form, and you can embed it into your website. We can embed it anywhere basically. And the good thing about this, so you can actually, we don't use this ourselves because we do it another way using Zapier and a like a real dressed up type form, but this is a nice simple way to do it. So you capture the customer's details. They can write a bit of a description of the job, and they can add some files. So say like a little service request, and that will actually go into, that'll create a little job here. And then you can just click one button and it turns it into a project. So a quote or something. So it's all just embedded in, which is really cool. And this is actually a new little tab that they've added in here. This has only been around for a couple of weeks or so, which is just going through all your quotes and estimates. So a good way to sort of just go through these and see like which ones, how much you're waiting on, how much are declined, how much is accepted, all that kind of stuff. So have you got any questions on the dashboard? Does that sort of look similar to how you had it?
I cannot remember. It was probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it's probably heaps different now, hey?
Yeah, it does look like, it looks from memory, it looks kind of similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they've actually gone pretty nuts lately. Like the past year, it's like they must have grown their like the software team or something. They've been adding heaps of features, heaps of stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, I started with Fergus primarily because it was a user-based cost system, and because I wanted to start early, like I said at the start, SimPro was attractive, but it was like you had to pay like $5,000 or something like that to get set up, and then you had to do these trainings and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't have money to do that, so I just signed up to this. It was like $60 or $50 a month at the time. And as you add users, so we've got like 12 or 13 users on there now. So it's probably
Okay.
for the cost of SimPro, I guess, as a monthly thing over time. But when
I
you
think, what does it cost for 12 users?
I'll show you.
It's painful how much SimPro costs. We don't even have that many users.
So currently we're paying $657 a month.
Okay.
Which is all these users.
Yeah.
1, 3, 4. And the different users are different costs. So like I've got a tradesperson. Tradesperson is a 54 a month.
Yeah.
Full admin, like so full user is 60 a month. So we've got a few people on that.
Okay.
Then you can do timesheet user. And this one here is really cool. So you can do a contractor. So this guy,
Yeah.
Brad, he used to work full time for us, but he's moved down to Jindabyne. So he still wanted to do like we wanted him to do a few days here and there. So we just changed his version from full user to contractor, and Fergus just only charges $3.50 a day that he's actually scheduled in and works.
Wow, that's good.
The other day it just costs nothing.
Yeah.
And then timesheet users just what we put our apprentices on. So they've just got limited, like restricted permissions, but
Okay.
that's
yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
Is that what are you paying for SimPro?
For a full admin user is about 120 a month. And then let me see, like our last bill was about $900 because we have 3 admin users and then 6 mobile.
$100. How many people?
Well, 3 admin users and 6 mobile users.
Oh, so it's still a fair few. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably not heaps different, but it still is a different.
Yeah, it's about half the cost.
A half, you reckon? Is my math?
Yeah.
It's not math. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess like anyone watching this back, really, like I don't know, like I know SimPro is really good. I think they've got better and more powerful reporting and things like that. I think Fergus probably is catching up. Like I can show some probably what reports they do have.
Yeah.
So the one, you can do business performance dashboard. I probably won't go into these because it'll probably show too much of our numbers on the back end.
Yeah.
I tried to see if they had like a demo account, but they don't actually have one. You have to sign up and start creating a job. Too much work. So the good thing about that business performance dashboard is it'll show you where you are. It's fully integrated into Xero, but then you can actually like adjust some sliders and be like, all right, well, if I was at this percentage, what do I look like? So it's sort of good. Like, and that play in with the workbook quite well.
Yeah. And how do you go through like with materials and pre-builds and doing quoting? Do you find that's quick and easy?
Yeah. So I'll show you. So when you got this new job tab up here.
Yeah.
So that we can add in a customer. So you can do a new customer here and just enter in all their details. And we just do like a little bit of tracking of where our leads come from. It just helps with some put in the customer's name, put in the address. But I'll just do what I always do in these demos. I'll do Crow Electrical again. That's Crowy's old company. So that I've got I've got Crow Electrical, sorry, as the company, and then I added in who was like sort of running the business, I guess, as the main contact. So you can have different versions. You can also add in a billing contact because some companies will have like you got to send your invoices to this email address, but you talk to this person on site, so that's your main contact. And then you can add a site. So I'll do our factory here. That's right, Heathcat. So you just add all that in. So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Create a custom. Then what you do is you either select the job, you turn this little thing on if it's a quote or an estimate. If not, it's just a charge up or a cost plus or whatever you want to call it, or a do and charge. So usually I select this and then you go, is it a quote or an estimate? It just structures it a little bit differently. Let me just go test Fergus job, write a description. This is.
Can you do like And is that like the description that's going to be in the quote, or is that just your reference?
This is just the job description that we see. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I assign, we created some groups. So we've got automation projects, automation service. We do a lot of those. So we're just tracking those. That's like a mechanical stuff. And then we do electrical. So you can break that down into like electrical service, electrical projects, things like that. And you can that just sort of helps with some reporting as well and like tracking of jobs, seeing like, what you're doing more of and less of and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it helps you with scheduling too, because then you can schedule by a job type. So if you wanted to schedule heaps of service jobs and just map it to those particular people, you can do that.
Mm.
So then this is your job card within Fergus. So every single job has this layout. So you've got a job summary, which is just, the basics, and you can edit things. So that job description I wrote before, you can edit it. You've got a financial summary, which is like a per job financial summary, which is pretty cool. I think they need to do a little bit more work on this. I find that it's not really, unless I'm reading it wrong, it's not really accurate, I find, until the end of the job.
Okay.
But it is sort of good to see. It's good to see where, if you've where's the material? Yeah, spent costs. So you can see like here, when you do a quote, it'll capture your quoted material costs, and you can see if you've gone over or under, things like that in real time, which is handy.
Mm-hmm.
And the hours one is very good. The only problem with the hours one at the moment, I quote in days and half days, and this only tracks hours. So it always actually shows that we're like 1,000+% over our labor allowance. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask them soon if they could maybe have that as like another option or something like that, where you could do it in day rates as well as hours. So then I can get that accurate.
Yeah.
Got your labor costs. So the costing works out all right because the cost is the cost. Materials, and then it gives you this cool little graph down the bottom where you'll have like your projected profit will come out this way, your cost will go out that way, your invoice and things like that. So it gives you this cool little graph of where you're at on a job. We've got a cost report. So this is basically just a big list of all the costs, labor, invoices, all that kind of stuff. Notes and history. So this has actually been really handy for us to figure out what's happened when we've lost track of things, like who ordered what, when did that get sent. Every single thing that happens on this job, it'll log. So if someone else, so if you create the job and you do something, but then someone else, like another employee, comes in and changes something or sends a PO and you didn't know about it and you wanted to see when or if it got sent, things like that, we use that heaps to just check if things have been done and when. Files and photos are super handy. So we'll as you might have seen, we use ground plan and things like that. So we'll attach the plans here so they're embedded in the job. So when the guys get to site and have their app, they can just pull the plans up on their iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
Any other file that's relevant, you can just pop in there. You can also attach these files to your quotes and estimates. So when I do a project, I'd start it in ground plan, I push it to Fergus, and then I download the ground plan files and put it in. And then when I send the quote, I attach it as a file. So then when they get the email, the quote's there, and it's got attachments below.
Yeah.
And then this is where you build your quote. So like anything, you can do it all manual. This is a quote. You can write a description. This is a description. Can't spell, but don't worry about that. Oh no, it worked out all right. And then you can start adding line items. So back in the day, everything was full manual for me. I just write like labor, put it in. You can change the type between material and labor. That just helps with your tracking and reporting. And you can 60 and you can mark it up 75, and you can go through and you can do everything like that, which obviously will take forever. I'll show you soon how you can integrate supplier documents into the software. So your price list from Go Electrical or from anyone really, you just create them. Then you can start searching. So if I go Origin. So this is just a brand, Origin Acoustics. From a particular supplier, and everything's just in here. So this is good for two reasons. One, for quoting. If you know the part that you want, you can just search it and it'll pop up with your cost and your markup, which you can edit. So I'll just chuck that in. So that'll give you this product, what it cost us, what I want to sell it for, or you can edit it by a percentage. So you can go 60 if you wanted to, and just bump it up and down like that. But what I actually use these days is favorites, which I'll get into this in a sec. But we've got a full library of favorites in here, broken down by types of jobs and what they are. So that will then save a lot of time because you've got a heading, you've got a product description, you can add a photo, you can add your product in with a predefined cost and markup. That's also integrated into your supply docs. So when you do update your supply docs, it'll update the favorites in the back end, and then you can put in your install, and then you can do one of two things. You can either find things and add them in as a line item, or you can just add in the whole section and it'll add it in like that.
Okay. Can you do like options, selectable options?
You can't do selectable options, but that would be amazing. Can you do that in SimPro?
No.
Yeah. I trialed so I was always going to keep Fergus, but I trialed another software when I was pushing Fergus to try and put images in and they hadn't done it yet. I saw another contractor's quote, and I was like, holy crap, that looks amazing. Like it had just images of all the products, which in what we do, especially or probably anyone actually, just really helps the customer understand what they're getting.
Yeah.
So there was a company called Specify, and they were from the Netherlands or something like that. It was AV only, like audiovisual products only.
Okay.
And you'd create this quote, and then it had this amazing option where you could like go, I'd quote a pair of 6-inch speakers, but yeah, it would have a drop down where the customer could actually select upgrade to 8-inch, and it would upload the quote in real time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awesome. But
be so
it was
good. Yeah, I've been playing around with different things because I find SimPro just takes up too much of my time to send out quick quotes. So I was looking at Quotian, and you can select options on there. But it's very basic. Like you have to have either the whole invoice showing all of the pricing or showing none of the pricing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, this is good because you got those options here where you can update what you do and don't show.
Yeah.
Which is good. And it's got quite a few. So line item quantities, line item. So that should update that below there. So that'll turn on and off the actual line items, but keep the total. You can show the prices of each thing. So if when you got a 2, it'll show you that. You can get rid of the total overall, and you can get rid of the line items altogether. Heaps of stuff you can do there. So getting rid of the line items altogether could be cool if, like, for what sort of anyone can do is you can create like a package that includes all the products and the labor, and then just have it as like a bundle price, basically.
Yeah.
So the client can't like pick apart, like, oh, what do you mean you're allowing 3 hours for that? So
yes.
Yeah, which happens. So no, we don't have selectable upgrades. I wish we did, but the best thing ever is these favorites. But like anything, you've got to go through the pain of setting it up. I thought you did have those in SimPro, actually, aren't they called pre-builds?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use them or not yet?
Yeah, we use pre-builds. Yeah. I don't know how to bring up the pre-build to show you a photo as well on the quote.
Yeah.
I have to have a look at that.
Is it sort of, so you don't know if you can add images in?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Not sure, yeah.
Yeah, not with the basic quote templates.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay, cool. So so let's just say I did this quote. Who's this going to go to? I wonder if I send this. So you just hit publish. It'll generate this. Luke@crowelectrical.com. I assume that will bounce back. And it just generates this invoice for you. They've added in this AI helper, but so far it's not really helpful, except for spelling, which I'm terrible at. But if you professionalize it, I think it just sounds a bit wanky. But everything that comes through here, this message, Yeah, thank you for your interest in collaborating with our company. I would never say that. So this whole thing though, this like, hi Luke, thank you for working with us. Please see attached quote for this, blah, blah, blah. In the settings, I might go into settings after we go through this job card. You can customize that and put in the variables that it will pull in. So you can actually write your own customized one that sounds nice, but it updates obviously the project address and the person's name and all that kind of stuff. So I can send that. Don't know. Luke might get it and he'll wonder what the hell's going on because he doesn't work there anymore. But anyway, and then I can accept it. So once you accept it, in a quote or an estimate world, you accept it and it moves to the next phase of the job cycle. When you don't tick quote or estimate, like when we first created the job, it just goes straight to this part. So we've got ourselves an accepted quote. If I did new versions, so like just say we accepted this quote, but before we started, they're like, oh crap, actually, can you add this in? You can actually go new version and just edit the existing version and resend it instead of starting with a variation.
Yeah.
So, and then you can view all your versions here and it'll tell you if it's been sent or not sent and archived and all that kind of stuff. But then when you do have variations on a job, you just click this little button up here and you can actually create. So this creates a whole new job with a whole new job card, but it's actually attached to this main job card. So I'm assuming SimPro would have something like that as well.
Yeah.
We've got invoicing. So they make invoicing so easy, like especially when you're doing a cost plus job. You capture the hours from the guys entering their timesheets. You capture this the supplier documents and everything coming in from the wholesalers as they buy them, as long as they use the job number, and any stock it can enter in manually from your price books. And then you can literally click a button and it still lets me do it. So when it's a cost plus, it will just have a quick invoice option. It will just automatically generate you an invoice based on what you've done. Obviously, we haven't done anything, so nothing's here, but it would literally just say materials and have a list with all the markups. And then it would say labor and just labor out. It'll say like this person on this date for this amount of hours. Boom. And it just lists it all out. You can obviously muck around with it. When we are mucking around with it, so I'll do this as actually from a quote.
So I'll let you keep going. I just have to make a quick phone call. I'll be back in a minute.
That's cool. So what you can do when you create an invoice, obviously, especially now that we're working through the workbook, you can sort of see here what your margins are. So on this particular job, I can see here that my margin is 44%. But say I entered that into the workbook and I blew out the labor. So the labor cost here was $220, but it was actually $400. Obviously you can't do this on a quota job, but if it was a cost plus job, this is where you can just muck around with it here and you can just update, like, and just say, I'll actually make that 100% markup, and you can edit your numbers there, or you could edit either your labor rate or your labor quantity. And you can just get that to a different margin sort of thing. So that's a good little way that you can edit all that kind of stuff. Once you're happy with your invoice, you just hit approve. You can download it. You can print it. We never really do that. We just sort of approve and send. So I'll approve and email this. This will give me another automatically generated invoice once it pops up. Might actually just change that to Greg. Wonder if Greg's still got this email address. He might actually get it. So I'm going to have to actually wipe this when I'm done because this fully integrates into our Xero. So this will actually show as a owing invoice like in our system. So I'll have to let Pam, our admin, know that I've been mucking around. And then, so then we can see our invoices here. Can see that that's been approved, it's been sent, but Crowy hasn't paid me yet. All right, so tasks. So as you're going through, actually, I'll touch on this first. So job phases. So this is really good when you're doing a larger project, is it'll automatically create a job phase. So if you set it up as a cost plus, that it just does this automatically. Once a quote is accepted or an estimate is accepted, it'll create one and it just names it the job name. What we usually do, just say it's a big electrical project, we will set the first job phase as like deck work, and power to site. And then what we'll do, you can actually give that a better description as well. Better description. And then this is what will pop up on our guys' phones. It'll have the job number with a letter after it. It'll have the description of what this part of the job is. And you can have like a detailed description here. What will happen is all the labor, all the materials, and basically everything else that relates to that component of a whole job is captured here. So this is really good to see how you're tracking on certain sections of a job and break it down into little pieces, or even sort of have two teams running. So say you had a large electrical job and you wanted some people to concentrate on like power and lighting, and then you wanted some other people to concentrate on communications and audio and stuff like that. You could create two separate job phases, and you can assign those people to job A and those people to job B, order the materials under job A for the power and stuff, order the comms materials under job B, and just flow through and get a good guidance. And then that flows onto invoicing too. So if I create another job phase, just call this test B, and then I go, let's just add some manual labor in here. So I'll just go labor, did that today. I can add a time entry on this, and I can say my work is complete. That'll, whenever employees enter in labor, if it's an ongoing job, they can hit not complete, or it says need to return, which that keeps it on the dashboard, keeps it in progress. When all employees hit work complete, it automatically goes over to the ready to invoice section, or either that or the cost plus, depending on if materials are in. So we can see here now that we've got some labor added in on that one. And then on this one, I'll go another person. I'll add Ash in, test A. She can just do a few hours on this. Why isn't my mouse working? Oh, that's PM, that's why. She can work till 4 PM today. Work complete. Stock on hand. So purchase orders is when you want to send a supplier a purchase order for the material. So I quoted a speaker on this job. So I get that particular speaker from this supplier, and I can import from the quote. I'll select the section that relates and hit import. And it's smart enough to only bring in the materials. It won't bring in the labor under that section. Then I can literally just email that. So if I email that, but I'll email it to myself. So I'm just going to be careful what I do. So that whenever you create a customer, you can assign their billing email address, so it remembers that for you, so you don't have to think too hard. Or I can email that to myself. What this does, so I've sent the purchase order. The supplier's going to get that. They're going to know that I want those materials, and it automatically puts it in here in supplier documents. But because I haven't received the actual invoice from the supplier yet, it says unreconciled. When that comes in and we reconcile it in Xero, that integration will actually reconcile that. And then I know this is really good when we're looking at jobs, that I can see that we have actually received those materials, because our suppliers only bill us once they send the equipment out. So that's a good little indicator sometimes to go through and be like, all right, we've got that. That one's unreconciled. They mustn't have sent it yet. We sent it on the 1st of the 8th. It's now the 20th of the 8th. I'll call up and see what's going on there, like why they're taking so long. So that's a good little thing there. And then this will also, on a cost plus job, will push all through to your invoicing. So if I go invoicing now, and instead of doing it from the quote, I'll pretend it's a cost plus job and do a quick invoice. This will break it down into these sections for me, which is super helpful, because when you're sending this to a client, they can see, right, this job number, letter B, relates to my power and my lighting, and yep, those guys were there, and yep, that's all the materials under that. And then this one here is deck work and power to site, or comms, or whatever you want to call it. Yep, that's all the labor that relates to that. I remember seeing them there, and yep, that's all the materials. And you can just shoot that off that way. Once again, you can always muck around with your margins there if you wanted to bump that up, or, you know, even you can actually also apply discounts if you wanted to. So I can do a 10% labor discount, and that will update the numbers. And then it will show down here as a discount. Sometimes, look, on rare occasions, sometimes, you know, you might want to give a discount to a customer, make them feel all warm and fuzzy inside. As long as it falls within your margins that you want to achieve, then you can do that, and they can actually see it there that they're getting a discount. Might help get a job across the line. Tasks, we spoke about. Forms. Actually, why did I start doing that? I was talking about something else over here. Stock on hand, that's right. So stock on hand, that's separate to purchase order. So what we try and do as a company that mostly does projects is we try and order the materials that we need as we need them, purely so we're not holding thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock. And so we can just in real time just go, right, our quote's accepted, order the gear. We've got 30 to 60 days to pay for that. Let's get the gear installed and invoice the customer. Keeps cash flow going. So, but you've always got some form of materials like in your van or whatever. So you can search for that. So you can go like, I don't even know if this is going to come up, but we'll try it. 2.5 mil cable ties, that'll do. Let's just say we used a bag of cable ties from the truck, so that this is a super powerful tool because it allows you to track what you have. The hardest part is getting your employees to actually do it. So that's another conversation, but we just sort of get them to, we found the easiest way is to get them to enter in their labor description. So when they enter in their labor, they can say like, we did this, used, and then just go like cable ties, you know, so on and so forth, and just write a list. And then when we look at it in the office, it's just easy for us to do it half the time. Some of them do it, some of them don't. All right, so continuing on, we've got forms. You can create your own forms for your staff. So one example is one that I've made is a smoke alarm certificate. So this just, you know, everyone always sort of gets towards the end of the job and the builder's smashing, I need the smoke alarm certificate, blah, blah, blah. If you just make this, you can assign it to an employee, and it will automatically fill out anything that's in purple is like a variable that you set up in the form. And I think because it's already 10 to 12, I think we might do another one next week, and I'll go through all this advanced stuff in the settings over here. So it'll say, I, Tom Ryan, being the license, blah, blah, blah. How many smokies? So I'll put that as a number input, and you can enter in, there's 3 smokies. Oh, we did them today, right where they are. Company name already automatically gets pulled in, and then you can, on your phone being a touchscreen, you can sign it. And then what you can do is you can save it, and then you can submit it. And it's not going to let me because I haven't done that. And then you can submit it, and you can just email it straight to the customer because the job card obviously already has the customer's details in there. Let's see if Crowy gets this one. So there you go. So hello, Crow Electrical Group, blah, blah, blah. There it is. Pretty sure it automatically attacks that one, but I'll just click on it anyway. Send that to Crowy. So they're really good. Hazards. This is all your health and safety. So you can add in all your swims and data sheets and all that kind of stuff. And you can attach that to the project for the guys to sign on site. Certificates. This is a really cool one. So a lot of this, from memory, a lot of this is Queensland certificates, but yeah, heaps of Queensland ones. So we've got a job sign-off form and a CCW. So really cool feature. CCWs are fully embedded into Fergus. So you can go create new certificate, CCW. Once again, this just makes it super easy for people on site, and everything's just a fillable PDF. So you can fill it all in. It brings in what it does know. It'll automatically bring in. What it doesn't know, it'll just leave blank, and you can fill it in. Just standard CCW stuff here. Sign it all. Fill in all those details. You can actually put in, I've been lazy and haven't done this. You can actually put in all of your employees' license numbers. And when you assign this to a staff member, it'll automatically fill in all their name, street address, and license number, which is quite handy. Checklists. We haven't really been using this because we run it all through Slack, but you can do it. It's really, really easy to do. So I don't even know what this one is, but let's just have a look. Yeah, there you go. So you can actually have a checklist fully embedded into the project that they can just access off their job card. You can assign it to people. You can do multiple checklists. You can put due dates on. So you could create break the checklist into little bits and just be like, power to site. Have you checked all these things? Sign it, ticket, due date, rough in stage. Have you done all these things? Have you put the smokies in? Have you, done this? Have you done that? Ticket, sign it. And it'll sort of show who ticked things off as well. So you can track that. Reconciliation. This is just another thing about that supplier doc that I'm expecting from my supplier. So that's basically a really good overview of a job card and how to use it. The last little piece, I guess, would be scheduling. So you can schedule from multiple locations, but you can actually schedule here and just drag it onto, I'll assign myself to this job. So that only assigns certain people because of the job type I selected. And I can schedule myself to the job. So I'll do a quick last sort of 10 minutes. I might show the calendar. So the calendar is really, really visual. So we'll just have a look at one of the past days. It's got filled in. So I can see here, I'm in a custom view. Let me just go over one. So what we do here is you have all your jobs and you can search any job that you want. I think we've got one open for our office at the moment. And you just drop and drag everything in. And then it's a super visual way of seeing where everyone is that day, what times. So yesterday I could go, I'm going to do that from 7 till probably about 10. And I'm clicking all over the place. Delete that. And then I want to go from 10 till 12. I should be able to do that job. And then I should be able to do this job to see out the rest of the day. And I can hear my phone pinging right now. I'm getting notifications come through from Fergus just telling me that I've been assigned to a job, which is really helpful. When you schedule your staff, they get notified, so they know to look, which is quite good. If sometimes we'll schedule a day out and then 3 or 4 o'clock comes around, the boys might have already checked their phone. But if we have to change something, it'll give them a notification and that'll pop up and say oh, you've been scheduled, and they'll know that there's been a change. So the calendar's heaps good. And you can do it when we first set up that job before. You can select a project type, and in the settings, you can assign people that suit that project type. So that just makes it easy for scheduling when you wanted to do say you did have a service division and a projects division or something like that. You can go, all right, I'm going to do all the service jobs, pop your jobs open, go through them, schedule all them. You know that the service team's full. Then you can go projects team, schedule the projects team, and then you can just double check it all by going all staff and make sure no one's missing. Some people don't get scheduled because they're just admin, and what they do in that situation, if they work on a billable project, they'll just schedule themselves in. All right. So that's a lot of the basic stuff. We do have this little notice board where you can sort of just chat amongst yourselves. And I think what I'll do next week, so we've gone through that. So customers is obviously just a list of customers. You can automatically create them, but really that's just a big list. Sites we never really use. That's just a big list of sites. Map, we never use this either really, but this would be super, super handy actually if you were a service company and you had staff and jobs all over the place. It's not even loading up. You can look on this map and you can actually see, it'll just put little dots on the map of where staff are assigned to, where the job location is on that day. So you can just look at it and be like, all right, yeah, I've got 2 of the guys up there. I've got 2 down here. I've got this new job that's just come in that's emergency, and that's sort of there. So that's the closest team. We'll just send them to it instead. Although that's not really scanning up for me. All right, so I think, oh, there it goes. So you can sort of see where our jobs are everywhere, mostly in this region. These are all things I think that are sort of happening today. Yeah. And if they've got their things, what is it, location services turned on, you can see where people are, but a little bit stalkery. I think most of them turn it off. We're cool with that here. But I guess if you're a service company, it would be super helpful to see where people are. Cool. All right. So I think next week we'll continue on and we'll go through more of the detailed, like the real, more, I guess more of the advanced stuff. So there's a lot of stuff in settings, how you can set up your quoting templates, and you can create like different templates for different types of jobs, or your invoicing templates, terms of trade, how you drop all that in, how you manage time entries, how you can do payments and online payments. We'll definitely go through integration. So we'll have a look at connecting Xero and connecting Ground Plan and all those sorts of things. Oh, Fergus API. It's the first I've seen that. I'll have to spend the rest of my day looking at that, I think. Sales account codes, reminders. You can set up all your reminder settings, turn things on and off. We have a lot of stuff turned off because I don't know, it doesn't really suit our business type, but you definitely can have it on there. We just do it all manually, or differently. You can have your email settings. So I might actually do a quick little crash course on this. This is like a little integration that I have into Zapier. So this is like a little sneaky one in the back end. This is where you set up your certificates. This is where you set up all your forms. And I might actually I'll do a crash course on how we can create like a custom form, because this is actually really cool what you can do. There's a lot of options in here. This is where you can manage your inquiries and integrate it into a website. This is where you create your checklist. So we'll run through that, like how to create a checklist and then map that to a project. Pay rules. We don't actually use this, but we probably need to. This is where you can set up things like where it automatically does overtime and all that. But I think Pam in admin prefers to do that manually. Bit of the boring stuff like our billing, users, and security groups and activity log. Where's favorites? Did I brush over that? So I did brush over favorites. I don't know how I did that. So this we'll probably spend a good 20 minutes or so, I reckon, on favorites next week. So it's a bit like a folder structure of creating little chunks of bits that you would add into a quote. Anything that you do more than once, like, if you do this random one-off quote, you don't need to do that as a favorite. But if you continually quote the same thing, a PowerPoint, a temporary board and a poll, a downlight, whatever, it all goes in here. And you can just smack it all in one big list, but I recommend that you don't do that. We put it all into folders, and then we have subfolders within those folders, and you can just keep going. So the biggest one that we do is this one, home automation, supply and program. So obviously, like I've just named that supply and program because that suits the jobs that we do for other Sparkies. And then we've got design, and this basically matches, these subfolders match the folders that we have within Fergus. So it all sort of lines up. So we've got folder one, subfolder one, subfolder within that subfolder, which is switches. Then we've got more subfolders again. So basically I've gone project type, system type, what is it within that system, and then brand, and then product. And then these are all our favorites. So this is basically how you price one of these switches. They need multiple parts. They've got the bit that goes in the wall at the back that you don't see. They've got push buttons. They've got icons. They've got a wall bracket, and then they've got programming labor. We've put a nice little description. We put a nice image that links over to our ground plan point, and then I just drop them on the screen. And that's basically when I push that button in ground plan to build a quote, sucks the information out of here in Fergus, in favorites, and pushes it to my quote. So I don't have to muck around. So yeah, we'll build some of those in real time. I'll show you how you can sort of set them up with different numbers on them and things. And a good little thing that they have is if you have to build one, So say you're doing a quote and you don't have a favorite, and you're like, I'll just make this as like a section. You can build it, you can make your heading, you can make your description, you can add a photo in, you can build it all in an actual quote, send that quote off, and then you can click a little button that says add section to favorites. And they'll all just automatically dump in this folder here called Save from Quote, which is just out of the box, just in Fergus. And these are a few that like we've sort of made up on little jobs. So just little bits and pieces. You can obviously, once you get it, then you can move it into a new section. And then when it's in there, you can come in here and you can just like then rename it in here and edit it. So you can continue to reuse it. So yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good overview today of the basics of Fergus. I strongly recommend, although just keep in mind that I haven't actually used SimPro, I haven't actually used ServiceMate, I haven't used any of these other softwares. So I'm not saying that one's good and one's bad, or one's better and one's worse. It's this is just what I've always used. So I've really dove in pretty hard and set it up to its full potential. But I think any software that you use, it doesn't matter how good it is, if you don't put in the effort to getting in there and actually setting it up properly, then they're all going to be shit. So it is sort of user dependent, but I know that it's obviously a lot as well. Like ours is pumping, but this has been like I don't know, I don't want to scare anyone, but probably like a 5-year long project to, not full time obviously, but just learning little bits, adding bits in, and they'll bring out a new feature such as forms or checklists, and then you're like, oh, that's really cool, but then I've got to build all those out. And then just like any software, they'll evolve as well. So I don't feel like with a software you're ever finished. You continually just got to add to it. You got to edit it, and just to keep it sort of relevant and beneficial. But yeah, if you're looking to boost your business pretty hard and save yourself a shitload of time, number one, 100% is job management software. And then number two is looking at some like integrations after that. So anything that you can do in a way where you bring leads in and automatically push them in, or if you're a projects company, doing ground plan in, that'll save you a lot of time.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules, be kind. See you soon.